Welcome to episode 68 of the Fit Strong Women Over 50 podcast.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Jill. Thanks for joining us today.
We have a little bit different format in that we're going to go straight into our interview with Juel Fitzgerald.
Yep, thanks for joining us, and let's get to the podcast.
This makes the third time that Juel Fitzgerald has been on the Fit Strong Women Over 50 podcast. She's always doing something new, so we like to keep track of what she's been doing. We first talked with Juel in episode 8 about how she was walking marathons.
She had recently finished the Bataan Memorial Death March held at the desert of the White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. We then followed up with her in episode 24, where we talked about several half marathons that she was walking. Juel has recently published a book called Lives of a Gem, God's Treasured Possession. Welcome, Juel. We're really happy to be able to talk with you again.
I'm glad to be here too.
Before we actually talk about anything else, tell us about your new book, because that's really exciting news.
Yeah, it is, especially published during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, right, exactly. Of the book that started a couple of years ago, and God chose for it to be finished here in this pandemic. But it's a memoirs about my 64 years of life. And it's just amazing what God had me put in there about all these lives, because each chapter is about a life of this woman. So from birth until now, and the different things I was going through. So it was just interesting how God put that together and had me do that. Because how can you remember 64 years of life? I mean, my gosh. So it's just been really good.
That's great.
Wow. These are like the different phases of your life.
We're not even that, because some of them are different types. Some of them are phases, being a child, being a wife, being a student, a co-worker. That's what things like a co-worker, how kind of hair changes I went through, because I've gone through all kind of different hairstyles over those years. My health, that's a whole chapter by itself. Being an African American is a chapter by itself. So that's not even a phase, that's forever. Being a disciple of Christ, that's forever. So some are phases and some are characteristics or life issues.
There has to be something in there about your marathons, I would think.
Yes, there's a walker, the humbled walker chapter. That's probably one of my longest ones. So, yeah.
Did you publish this yourself?
Yes, it's self-published. And that was a journey in itself, trying to decide whether to do traditional, self-published, or a hybrid of both.
Okay.
And I was just amazed at how that looked, because back in the day, self-publishing was very unprofessional, it's just that you could tell in self-published. Right. So to look at that book now, you're like, wow, there's no way you could tell that other than looking at the name of the publishers. It's not one of the big publishers out there, it's
right.
The company, Juel's Creation, LLC.
Nice.
So it's been great going through that journey of even making that decision, because that was a process.
I'm sure. There are a lot of people now who do self-publishing, so you're right. Yeah. It's completely changed.
And a lot of decisions along the way. You're not just the writer anymore. You're trying to figure out all the details of the actual physical part of the book.
Right.
So where do you sell the book?
It's being sold online through, the people that are printing my book also distribute the book. So they give me access to the Amazons and the Barnes and Noble and the Targets and all and international venues also. So they're the ones that's distributed to these people.
Wow.
And they make the sales online that way. And then, of course, I sell directly myself.
Sure.
So I do both.
You have some wonderful reviews on Amazon on your book.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed someone said they bought it from your website.
Right.
So I guess, what is your website?
It is, after the HTTPS, juelscreations.wordpress.com. So that's the website. And then I have a Facebook page too.
That's great. Well, we'll link to that in the show notes.
Then I'm on LinkedIn also.
Okay, good.
And I saw on LinkedIn that you also do a blog.
Yes, I do. Wow, 3 blogs. The one blog I do every week, because that's a spiritual devotional. I've done that for 10 years. So every week I'm writing some sort of spiritual devotional that God wants me to write. Yeah, but that's the one blog. That's all the time. And then the other 2 is the It's a travel blog because I used to be a travel agent. So I have a travel blog, and I'm thinking that might be 5 years old, maybe. But since I just stopped being a travel agent this year, God told me to get out of travel agency. And at the time, I was like, it's kind of like, oh, okay. Now I realize why he wants me out, because of COVID. Travel world's going to be different. He don't want me to be involved with what life is going to look like during and after COVID. So nope, I want you out. I got other things for you to do. I want you to be focused more on writing and some other things I got planned for you. But I'm keeping the blog so that when I do travel, I'm still going to write information and give information and keep it up there so people can use the information to travel.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I can't wait to do my first trip so I can write about what it was like during COVID, after COVID, or whatever, because I don't know when he's going to allow me to travel yet, because I haven't done anything this year. It's all been canceled.
Right.
So that one. And then the third one is just sitting there. It's just a journal of a 1-year journal that I did when I walked 1,500 miles and earned $1,550 for Hope Worldwide.
Okay.
I think it was the walking journal that we were most familiar with, because that's where you detailed about your Bataan Memorial Death March, right? Is that the walking one?
Yes. Well,
yeah.
I'm trying to think, man, was that the same year? For some reason, I want to think the walking one may have been before the Bataan, but the Bataan is also in my spiritual blog, because definitely wrote a couple devos about that one.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right.
So how have you been dealing with social distancing and shutdown during this pandemic?
Well, for me, it's been great, because, at the beginning, you're like, oh, no, I'm trapped in the house. You can't do nothing. It was great for me, probably because I've been so busy here and there and yon that I get to stay home. And I'm still having Zoom meetings because I'm on a board. I do Bible study fellowship, all these meetings I'm still involved with. I just don't have to travel. I'm saving on gas. I'm still having those meetings. With the walking is probably where the social distancing was a problem, because it's hard to walk. My girlfriends and I, we walk every Saturday. We do 6 miles. At least we were before I got sick. They still do 6 miles. I finally got to a point where I'm 6 miles again. So we walked every mile, 6 miles. So the problem with walking is wearing the mask. That's been really hard. And you probably noticed that too. And all athletes have noticed, you cannot breathe through a mask and do whatever it is you're doing, playing football, walking, whatever.
It's very difficult, isn't it? Yeah.
Breathe. I can breathe normally. If I'm not walking and my heart rate's not up, I'm good to go. But the mask that you guys have, that has helped immensely, especially in my hiking. But even with that one, I still need to, sometimes take the mask off. It's just like, it's just not cool. And then in the beginning, when we were strictly social distancing, 3 of us walking together 6 feet apart. Hello, how you doing? How do you have a conversation with somebody when they're sitting over there, their back is to you? That drove me crazy.
Right. I find my throat hurts from yelling at people for an hour through a mask, trying to make myself.
What'd you say? Yeah, so I'll be so glad we don't have to do that anymore. That part of the mask thing.
So you're not doing masks anymore when you are walking, is that right?
Well, I'm wearing. When I'm with my husband, I don't need wear a mask when we're hiking. Yeah. We just carry the mask and wear the mask on our neck. So when we run into other people that's not in this household and we're not 6 feet apart, then we put it up and then we put it back down, because it's hard to do. But with them, same thing. So it's just depends on my situation who I'm walking with. I have the mask, but if I don't have to use it and I'm outside, then I pull it down because I can't breathe. And with the asthma that I have, it'll make my respiration higher than I want it to be.
Sure.
So it's like,
yeah, that's a challenge.
Yeah,
no doubt.
It is a challenge. But I need the mask because, to help protect other people from me, just in case I have it, or even give me one little layer of something in case something comes my way.
So you're basically walking with 4 other people. I think I saw two other people.
It's generally just 2 other people, probably in Michelle.
Okay.
Yeah, those are my long distance walkers.
Do you go on the same route all the time, or you?
No, we go to different metro parks or wherever else we decide we want to walk. So we just go to different parks, wherever it feels like we want to go.
It's been a couple of years since we actually talked on the podcast, and I just, what's new with you fitness-wise?
Fitness-wise, I'm not walking those long distance that I was doing before. Half marathons, full marathons are not part of my equation anymore. 6 mile was always my base. Now 6 miles my base and my top line distance that I'm doing. And just for walking, just for health reasons, just to hang out with my girlfriends, just to hang out with my husband, just to hang out with whoever, not to do races, because I'm not even trying to do races anymore. Especially after this year of virtuals. Whew, I'm so done with virtuals. No. Yeah, doing races is not what I do anymore because I have so many medals, so many T-shirts. There's only so much you can have. Now, if a race happens to come up that's really different, it's got to be something like the Shawshank. We tried to do that this year, but of course it went virtual. I might do that next year if we're able to do it because I don't know where COVID is going to be. Because that was fun and doing the movie and that. But other than that, races is not what I'm doing. I'm just walking for health now. Just like I started when I first lost the weight. I did it for health. Now I'm full circle walking just for health. And to keep it moving, because I want to be an old person with we call them thing walkers. Keep it moving now so that when I'm in my 80s, I'm still moving.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that because of health issues that you've shortened the distance again, or?
No, I was already shortening the distance maybe a year or so ago.
Okay.
Because it's just the races. Doing the races, it's almost like you're on somebody else's time clock. You got to be there at 4,000 or 5,000 clock hours in the morning.
Right.
And we're walking. Okay, let's get together 8 or 9 instead of 4 or 5, 6. Somebody else's clock. You're standing out in the weather, waiting to do whatever, and that also messes with your health if you're waiting in the rain, waiting in the snow, or whatever. I don't like doing cold races anyway. I can do stuff in the heat in good weather, warm. But I was already weaning myself down because I knew that fitness also affected my asthma. While I was at a top peak marathoning, half marathoning, asthma was never a question. I never had to use rescue inhaler, nothing, just the maintenance. But if fitness goes down, then asthma comes in. So I was weaning myself down anyway. My medicine level for the maintenance was going down, which was all good. The doctor was happy with that. But March, COVID came, it dropped me down totally because recreation's closed, everything, it was wintertime. So I went down faster than I planned, and that's probably why I ended up in the hospital 3 times. But no, I was already weaning myself down because I was just not interested no more in doing long distance races.
Okay.
You mentioned being in the hospital 3 times. I don't want you to say anything you're uncomfortable with, but could you explain what happened and how you've been able to overcome that?
Yeah, so I was in the hospital May, June, and July. And May and June was because of pneumonia. The first time I was in for pneumonia, they first had to determine whether I was COVID because I had all the symptoms. I had the coughing, I had the respiration. What else would they have? Didn't have a fever. Never ever had a fever because fever is not really a reason. I mean, it's a reason, but it's not something that you definitely can tell you have COVID. So they had to treat me like I was COVID the first time and put me in a COVID potential ward. So I was on lockdown, big time. So that was kind of crazy, but I'm so glad I didn't have COVID. It was just pneumonia, gave me antibiotics, sent me home. The second time is because they didn't properly give me enough my antibiotics to get rid of the pneumonia. So now the second time they over-medicated me with probably every antibiotic under the sun to get rid of the pneumonia. So that's where I was. And then the third time was just because of a diarrhea situation. Because of an antibiotic, it caused me to have diarrhea, but thank goodness it wasn't C. diff because that's what they was concerned about. So just regular diarrhea. Right. They had to fix that, whew.
Yeah, you can have bad reactions to antibiotics, especially if they go too much, for sure.
But the cool part of all those trips helped teach me on how to better take care of my health. Because I have been fighting probiotics forever because I'm thinking, what the heck I don't like taking supplements. I don't like to take drugs as it is. But because I was so over medicated with the antibiotics, that meant my gut was all tore up too.
Yeah.
So I realized that I needed this probiotic that I kept avoiding. And then I didn't have to take it as a supplement. I eat it. So I like to do everything. If it's the closest it is to the ground that was made or the closest that God made this animal, that's how I want to eat anything, not through a pill or supplement or whatever. So I've been doing that every day, doing the probiotics through yogurts or all kind of other different things. And eat fermented food. So
you do use fermented food now?
Yes. So that's in my diet. And that's what's different, the fermented food.
Yeah.
To make sure my gut is good. Because I just, I found out that 70% of your health is dependent on the immune system in your gut. If your gut's not happy, you're not happy.
Yeah.
And that was huge. So it was a good lesson to go to the hospital, find all that out. And then just to learn how to watch my oxygen levels, to watch what my peak performances are. Because some of those times, if I had known I was so low, I might not could have avoided going to the hospital to begin with. And then I put garlic back in my diet, garlic, honey, that kind of stuff. That's just like a natural antibiotic right there. Keep the inflammation and stuff, that kind of things down. So going to the hospital was a big benefit for me. Plus to find out I had allergies that I didn't know.
Oh, really?
Allergies is, yeah.
So have you always had the asthma?
No, the asthma was maybe, I think they diagnosed me 10, 11 years ago. And it was actually a misdiagnosis at that time, but then eventually you do have asthma. So that's a whole nother long story.
All right. But
I don't have asthma?
It's not unusual for allergies and asthma to go together. So
exactly.
So it's, I guess, not surprising that someone finally said, oh, by the way, you have allergies.
Yeah, right. Finally. So I don't know when that actually came in. I'm guessing maybe it came a couple of years ago, but I didn't know that because the ragweed is seasonal. That's one of them. That's now until the time the snow flies. And a lot of times, not every year, but most times by November, December, I have bronchitis. But if I had known I had an allergy, it could head it off at the pass. So I can't wait to see how this is going to be because now I'm paying attention to my body. I'm more aware of, whoa, okay, I'm having a slight reaction. Let me hit that real quick,
Yeah.
So maybe I won't get any bronchitis this year.
Right.
Let's keep away from that. So that's a big help right there. And then I have dust mites, but that's all year round. And the most I can do right now is keep my house clean. I got air filters in every room that I live in and clean it and being a better, cleaner housekeeper and keeping the dust down.
Right.
And mold too. So the good part is information,
right.
Knowing what to do, how to treat myself so I won't be in the hospital.
I am also allergic to dust mites. And I remember the doctor telling me to use special pillowcases and wash my pillows, wash my pillowcases and the sheets all the time. Because it doesn't seem like dust mites would be in your bed, but it's just a natural thing, especially when your skin, your skin flakes off, and that's something that dust mites like to hang out on. They're so tiny you can't see them, so you don't even know you have. It's a difficult little thing, but it definitely affects my sinuses.
It does.
It totally does. Yeah.
And I've been telling people for years, it's something in my head. It's something in my head. Not in my lung, it's my head. And they keep like not literally, but I mean, something's going on in the back of my head, in my brain. I can feel something going on.
Yeah.
And now I finally, you have allergies. Like, seriously?
Yeah.
So I had to take all those shots to find out I have 7 allergies.
Well, and I find too that, as I age, I get more allergies. Things that I was not allergic to prior. All of a sudden, I'm allergic to it. And it's funny how your body changes that way. It's almost
like, why is
it
that?
Can't be, I'm not allergic to that. And then the next thing you know, you are. You get a test and you are allergic to that.
Yep, you are. Now you wonder why.
Yeah,
I've always wondered why. A lot of times I would just walking around, also see a little rash or something on my arm or some part of the body, like, what did I do? What's that? Wash it off. It's all good. So now I'm thinking it must have been probably whopped up against something with dust on it and bam, it reacted. Because that looked just like what the shots look like. And so now when I'm cleaning and dusting, I wear a mask. I'm glad I'm already masked trained. And I wash up immediately after so that it's off my face, it's off whatever immediately.
Wow. And I hope you don't develop any reactions to some of your cleaning products.
Well, no, because now I'm doing products that are not toxic, like Norwex. And, man, this other company just came to mind. I can't bring it up. But the Norwex, I'm using products that are not toxic.
No reaction. Yeah, because that can be another way of kicking everything off, right? You're trying to do the right thing, clean your house.
And then you're toxic. You're like, no, I'm drugged up from this other thing.
Well, I'm glad you're more healthy now, and you've learned a lot between, all the asthma problem, bronchitis, and also when you have too many antibiotics and the gut health. Gut health is so important. A lot of people don't know about it.
Right. And that's the only way you can learn is through challenges. So I appreciate when God puts me through challenges because I'm going to learn something out of it. And then I'm hoping that at the same time I can help other people going through the same challenges.
So when you had all the antibiotics, was it someone at the hospital or in your doctor's office who told you about the probiotics?
No, doctors don't teach probiotics.
I know that, but I was curious. Okay.
That's why I'm so frustrated. Like, here are these natural things we can do. No, take this pill.
Yeah.
It's always called legalized drug
Well,
culture.
that's what they learn in school. I think that's the system that we have going. But maybe you could talk a little bit more about fermented foods that you eat to help your gut health.
Yeah, or what else you eat for the probiotic?
Yeah, the list of the probiotics are all kind of things. And a lot of these things I don't even like. So it took me a minute to figure out which ones even I like or which ones I could even gain. Because some things you can't even get to because they're Japanese, Chinese. It was like, I don't have access to that kind of food. But some of the probiotic foods are like the yogurts everybody has. That really took me out because I don't like yogurt. It is just darn flat out nasty. So it took me a while to find one that I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this one. So it's called Light and Fit yogurt. So I'm able to eat that one, and it got 3 different flavors. So I'm eating up on that. Sauerkraut, there's no way. I don't like sauerkraut. Kefir, I still have yet to try. Kombucha, I don't pronounce it.
Kombucha, yeah.
Pickles, olives, and certain soft cheeses like cheddar, feta, provolone, and Gouda. Those are some. And then cavus, I don't know how you pronounce that. Miso, tempeh, natto, kimchi, and dark chocolate. Can I have dark chocolate every day?
Yes.
But yeah, so it's just been experience just to learn what things I could eat instead of taking a supplement or some other pill. Because even supplements, those are not all the same either. So some supplements are good, some are not. But yeah, I'd rather just eat it. And then also getting those prebiotics in too. So, the apples, the bananas, the garlic, the asparagus, leeks, and onions, and the garlic for sure. Yeah, because it's all about foods. Because the foods is what's making us healthy, or the foods are making us sick. And it was so funny because there was a list that showed sourdough bread as one. The only problem with sourdough bread is the part that's good is when it's still fermenting to be made into bread. But once you bake it and become bread, now you've killed the good fermented, the good bacteria, and it's not so good anymore.
Yeah, that sourdough bread tastes really good, but I'm not sure we can tout that as
we
a
cannot.
healthy food.
It's very good to eat, but it's not helping you healthy.
Oh, yeah, but it's good.
It tastes good, but...
Yeah, I would eat that all the time.
Yeah, you're right. The real health benefits are when it's...
Because I bake sourdough bread, but I'm like, I'm not eating the fermented part. That's nasty. That would be the part I could use, but right, no. So it's working out good so far, just eating properly. Because I'm already a Weight Watcher, so just to incorporate this other new stuff was just different. It was easy to incorporate because I'm already eating the natural right things.
So you're doing Weight Watchers. Are you a Weight Watchers leader still, or you're no? But you're doing Weight Watchers.
I haven't been a Weight Watchers leader in 5 years. Yeah, it's been 5 years, and I was a Weight Watcher leader for 5 years before that. But I still have to weigh in every month. So I weigh in every month to make sure my weight stays on point.
That's great.
I am not going back to that girl that was overweight, insecure. No, I'm not going back to her. It's not happening.
So you maintain your weight?
Definitely. In fact, I still journalize because if I don't write down what I'm eating, then I don't know where I am or I'll start gaining weight. So I still journalize everything I eat, whatever that might be for the day. I journalize it. So I can always tell you in a moment's notice what I had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day, how many points it was. And most of the time I end up with a negative number. I'm looking at my journal now. I always end up with a negative number, but I have activity points that help offset a lot of that stuff too. And then now I've been adding in with on that same journal, what my peak performance is or how I can breathe out, and then what my oxygen level is on that same journal. And I'm old school, so I'm still recording how much fruit and vegetables I'm getting and how much water I'm getting and what my fitness points are.
Okay, and you write it on paper.
Yep, on paper.
Well, there's something to be said for the old school because it's right there in front of you. You just grab it and it's right there. Yeah.
I mean, you might lose the information. I mean, I like technology and I use technology, but I'm old school. I want stuff in paper. So I can write it anytime I want to. It won't get lost. And that's the only thing that keeps me on track, literally, by writing it down. You have to write it down because how do you know if you did have a weight gain or if you're having a weight loss, what's going on? Because sometimes right now I'll have a weight loss. It's like, wait a minute, I know I'm eating. But if my activity level goes up, then that means I have to eat more.
Oh, right. Yeah. Do you weigh yourself daily, weekly?
I only weigh myself that one time a month because I don't need to know I can tell where I am because I can feel and see if it's going off or whatever. And I probably had more weigh-ins now because I'm in a doctor so much because they give me the weight, but then that's their weight too. And I still got shoes on.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Doctor scales, for some reason, don't seem to be in the same world as everyone else's scales.
yeah. So it's like, whatever it is.
Right.
So,
maybe it's because you weigh yourself there in the middle of the day and you're you're right, with all your clothes on and your shoes. And
if you drink at 8 already, because we drink a lot of liquid, that's a couple pounds every 8 ounces. So
yeah, that's true.
Like 1 pound for every 8 ounces. That's another pound. Don't drink before you weigh in. Don't do it.
Do you stay at the meetings? Because I'm thinking that the people who were at a Weight Watchers meeting probably find you very inspirational.
Well, before COVID, sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't, because I only go once a month. Sometimes I'm going through a spurt where maybe I'll go for the whole week, like a new program would come out so I can know what's going on. But most of the time I don't. But once a month I have to go to weigh in. Most of the time I'll weigh in and leave, and every now and then I'll stay. And yeah, sometimes that helps because I'm all over the place. But during the COVID, I did start staying at the meeting because it was kind of cool just to see people on Zoom and had that interaction with people and get to see people I hadn't seen in a while because I can't go visit. I can't weigh in anymore or in person.
Right.
So I did stay at some of those meetings. And now I'm back to let's just do this once a month.
Okay.
On Zoom, because I'm still not going into the building. I'm not trying to do that.
So you just weigh yourself at home?
Yep.
So what plans do you have for the future?
Like what, health-wise or travel? Or...
Well, like in 2021, do you have any things that you're working towards right now?
No, I know
or you're just kind of wait and see?
Other than maintaining my health and improving that as we go, and then promoting the book. But somewhere between now and the future, I'm also working on 3 other books. One I had been writing on anyway, a fiction, and for, I don't know, maybe 13 years, but God told me to put the fiction down and write the book that I did write that got published. So I got to get back to the fiction because it's false. But I also started another book even before that. It's called Hearty Missions, because I used to, before the blog, send e-missives, I called, to people on my distribution list, just whatever God wanted me to write. That was sporadic, so it just wasn't even weekly. But now that's going to be in a book. And some other ones, the best of the Devo. So that's another book right there. And then God said, let's do a self-help book. So I don't know what there's going to be on. So we'll see. Self-help, how can I help somebody? I don't know what that would be. Spiritually besides, but I mean, so 4 books, 3 books potentially coming in the future. But 2021, I'm hoping I can go travel. Haven't done anything. All my trips have been canceled, postponed. We were supposed to go to Dubai and Egypt in March. That's at the top of the COVID situation. Then postponed to next March. And I got a feeling it's going to be till too soon. So I don't know when that trip's going to happen, but I know God gave me that dream. When I got Egyptian pounds, I can't even exchange until I found a girlfriend. She said if that happens, she'll buy them because she goes to Egypt all the time because she is Egyptian. So I was like, cool. But I still want to go see the Sphinx and the pyramids. I just want to travel. I can't wait to start traveling.
Yeah.
Especially in that COVID world. That's what I want to do. So it's kind of hard to plan because I'm a planner. I like to plan, take a whole year in advance to plan for everything. But God has gotten me to a point before COVID that no, you can only plan 6 months in advance. And now with COVID, it's probably only 1 month, a couple of days. Planning is not an option anymore. It's just, okay, God, what you want me to do today? And let's do that. And let's move on. So that's why I'm thinking 2021. I still got to get through 2020. I don't have any plans for 2021.
Well, you just keep doing your 6 miles a day. That's still a pretty darn good goal.
It's not 6 miles a day. It's only 6 miles a week. Right.
A week. So, I misunderstood.
No, right now that'd be way too much miles for this body or the time because that takes hour and a half-ish, depending on who I'm walking with.
Right.
So is there anything that you do during the week when you're not with your friends?
Yeah, well, regularly the goal is to 5 days a week, at least do 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Okay. If I get 6 or 7, cool. So that means one of those days is going to be the 6. So that's that. And the other one's at least 30 minutes. So sometimes I walk with other friends during the week and it might be more than 30 minutes, but I got to at least have a minimum of 30 minutes because one friend is definitely all we do is 30 minutes. Another friend during the week, we could be an hour and a half, 2. So it just depends. But minimum 30 minutes, 5 days a week, just for general health.
Okay.
Got to keep it walking in there. And then some stretches to help with that. Because I used to do stretches for preventive to keep from having injuries because I was doing so many miles before. But now I'm not doing as many miles. Now I'm just doing stretches just to make sure I don't Yeah, still preventive, but not as deeply as before. Still actually working that out. Because I'm trying to figure out, God, what kind of stretch do I do now? Because I don't want to be over excessive doing the stretches either. So I'm still working out the stretch plan. Got to stretch after any of those walks, regardless, though.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, got to walk. It's just not as excessive that I have to walk. I got to walk. 30 minutes is good enough, even if that's an hour and a half. What it make an hour and a half? A mile and a half, maybe 2, depending on who I'm walking with. If I'm by myself, it'll be faster, but if I'm with somebody else, it's a lot less. I'm just enjoying having a good time walking with people. I'm finding I like walking with people better than walking by myself, because I started this journey walking alone by myself, and it was all good because all I had. But now, after being with people, it's like, man, I need to be with people when I'm walking. It makes it easier. It goes faster. The time goes, and it's just more fun.
Yeah.
Than being by yourself.
Yeah. There's something to be said for that social part of it, especially when everyone's in lockdown.
Yeah, especially now. Yeah.
I have to agree. I really like walks with people. I'll do walks by myself, but it's not the same.
And then if I walk by myself, I probably overdo. So I come back hurt because I'll go walk faster. And I'm like, oh, okay, I just tore some muscles. I mean, it's a good tear, but really walk with somebody else. Wow, I feel great. I don't have any pain at all. I'm good. But it's more fun talking with people in here. Because when you're walking with somebody, the adrenaline is flowing and you say things you normally wouldn't say sitting at a table at a restaurant. It's almost like the table is in a wall that inhibits you from saying something about your life or whatever, or even about them to help them through whatever they're going through. But you're walking, you're just spitting off stuff like, oh man, I didn't mean to tell you that. But now that we've talked about it, let's just go with that. I just confess to you about blah, 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 struggling with whatever. But it happens when you're walking. It just takes all the inhibitions away and it's just freeing. And then you get to have deeper relationships with the people that you're walking because you just told your mess, and then they told their mess to you. And we talked about some of the crazy stuff. But by yourself, yeah.
I feel like when I'm walking, the blood is flowing to my head and I just get better ideas. I just feel more creative and happy. I don't know. There's something about movement like that. That really makes
whole
a difference.
adrenaline flow. It's really good.
Yeah, I love the endorphins for sure.
Also, another thing I do too for my health is when I'm outside because of the ragweed. Yeah, it's only the ragweed that I got to deal with now. And then pollutants for that matter, because pollutants are all the time. When I'm outside for any length of time, when I come back in, I'll flush my sinuses out with Neomed Flush. So to get any of that stuff out, and to wash my face out too, because you might have pollens on your eyelashes and that kind of stuff. So you can keep away that kind of stuff. So I just been making sure I do that, flush that out. And I'm still using my spirometer because, I was in there for pneumonia. Anytime you have a surgery, they give you a spirometer so you won't get a pneumonia. And that's a whole nother story. They give it to you. At the time I was in the hospital, I had to breathe in it every hour, but now I'm using it as exercise. Just like I walk, just like I'm stretching, I do that every 2 hours, put it on my phone, and then I'll breathe in that thing to exercise my lungs. I'm going to do that from now on. So I asked my pulmonologist about it because I wasn't taking a chance I was overdoing it and blow my lung out or something. And he looked at me like, what? You could see in his face, like, I would like to tell people to do that, but they're not going to do it. And you're going to actually, I'm doing this for real. It's an exercise for me.
He doesn't know that you walked 1,500 miles. He doesn't know that
I need these lungs,
Are you right. A lot of people, they do that 10 times while they're in the hospital. They never touch
exactly.
that.
They throw it away.
Keep working that.
I'm using this thing.
They don't even use it in the hospital, let alone at home.
No. And then they're not even doing it properly. So.
Well, I have a feeling, Juel, that if you ever decide to do triathlons and do the swimming part, that all of the work that you've done on the spirometer is going to come to fruition and you'll find you have huge lung capacity.
Yeah. So that's the reason to keep that lung going. Because I don't want to get pneumonia again. And besides, everybody needs to be doing lung exercises in any case. So that's something they encourage everybody to do. But who does that? So that's why you get pneumonia, because the whole lung is not being used. Yeah,
a lot of people breathe just light into the top part of their chest cavity. They don't do the deep breathing where they really get the air out and bring more air in, like all the way to the bottom.
Just those bottom parts that don't get used.
Yeah, and then the bottom parts are the parts that start to get in trouble.
Exactly.
Right?
So I'm getting a little obsessive with that breathing. Oh, and black tea, do that in the morning too, because that helps with respiration.
It does?
It does.
Is that right?
So I make sure I have black tea every morning. for helping with my respiration. And that's how I could use it anyway, because that's too strong caffeine, because then I'll be up all night if I have black tea at night. So I was like, okay, good. Okay, that helps with energy too. Like, okay, I'm already energized. But
I did not know that. I've never heard that.
Yeah, exactly. So we have all kind of different black teas, but it's only for breakfast. Then after that, I'm herbal teas.
Okay.
I think that's about all the things that are different now than when you saw me 2 years ago, as far as what I'm doing health-wise. It's like, man, that's been really good stuff. Big changes, but good changes.
Well, it sounds like you're handling them well and moving forward through them.
Yeah.
Wow, 3 books on the horizon too. That's pretty amazing.
So we'll see how God's going to work all that out for me, since 2 of them are already half written. The self-help one, like I said, I had no idea what that's going to be. I have no idea.
Okay.
Like, what can I talk about? I have no idea.
Well, you've done a lot, so I'm sure you have good advice for people. Tell us again the name of your book.
Okay, it's Lives of a Gem, ! God's Treasured Possession.
People can find that at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere they buy books online.
Exactly.
Very good. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Just love seeing you guys.
Love seeing you too.
Nice if I can see you in person, walking or running or...
That happens, and it's so fun to see someone, right? It's so fun to just have that unusual moment where you reconnect.
But I won't be in any races, so I'll just have to catch you in the park, and you guys happen to be in the park at the same time. Yeah, you run into somebody, hey, you got that shirt on, I have that same shirt. Yeah, well, you guys keep doing what you're doing, because you guys are doing a wonderful thing too, with having the website and the podcast and whatnot. So it is so cool to remind people that regardless of how old we are, rather the older we get, that doesn't mean our physical fitness has to stop. In fact, it needs to improve, because we really have more time, especially if we're retired. If we happen to be that, you guys are probably still working, but I'm retired. But yeah, you got to keep the physical fitness going on regardless of the age. In fact, it's better to do it because of our age, because we're getting older.
Becomes even more important, right?
Yeah, because when you were young, you didn't have to do nothing. You just got up and do it. Now you got to keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Exactly.
So thanks for what you guys do and helping all of us.
You bet. Thank you.
We'll talk to you again, I'm sure.
See you again on Facebook or wherever we see you out there.
Okay. All right. Bye, Joel.
Take care. Bye-bye.
It was really good to talk to Juel.
Oh, wasn't it? Oh my gosh, she is such an inspiration.
She is. I did not realize when she was doing all the, she may have told us and I just forgot, but that she was dealing with asthma, even when she was doing all that, all the races.
Yeah, she really has some challenges to overcome, and man, she's doing it. She really is.
Yeah.
She stays focused and has fun along with it too. She's a very joyful person, and I always get encouraged from talking with her.
Yes, I agree. And she's yet another person who has sort of made some changes in what she does based on what her body needs and what she feels like is best for her. And that's a good lesson too, that there's nothing wrong with changing your focus.
Right. I thoroughly enjoyed talking with her. I'm eager to read her book.
Yes, I am too. You can leave us a message on the Becoming Ellie website.
Yeah.
And we have the Facebook page where you can also leave a message. We have, Chris, what's the phone number for us?
Phone number is area code 330-970-6662. And
so you could call and leave us voicemail. That would be great. Or you could email us. It's chris@becomingellie.com and Jill @becomingellie.com.
And Ellie is spelled E-L-L-I. She's the Norse goddess of aging, if you didn't know that already, who was challenged to a wrestling match with Thor and surprised everyone by winning.
That still makes me laugh every time we talk about it.
Yeah, I love to hear that story. All right, Jill. Well, looking forward to our next episode.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it too.
Hope everyone joins us.
Okay, talk to you then.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.